I load up on silver right now at 80 to 1. And when we get to its 200-year average of 40 to 1, I begin to start trading it to gold, double what you could otherwise buy today. And that's still 6 times above its mining ratio. You could expect in reality, a two, a three, or a four-fold return on your silver to gold investment when you switch back to gold.
In this compelling finance discussion, Andy Schectman emphasizes a unique investment opportunity in silver, urging us to consider its current undervaluation at an 80 to 1 ratio against gold. Highlighting silver's historical average and its multifaceted demand in industry, technology, and investment, Schectman suggests that buying silver now could lead to substantial returns. He also discusses a potential correction in the ratio to its 200-year average of 40 to 1, presenting a strategic opportunity to trade silver for gold and potentially double the investment. Schectman concludes by asserting that this could be the trade of a generation, making silver a key player in the evolving financial landscape. Let's dive into the full clip to hear his thesis.
The biggest event of my career happened in April of 2019, and that was the Bank of International Settlements, which is the most sophisticated and influential bank on the planet. They are the central banker's central bank. They kind of rule the roost. They reclassify gold as the world's only other tier one reserve asset. Let me just say that one more time. The only other tier one reserve asset other than US dollars and treasuries since the end of World War II. And that probably is why the central banks of the world have been buying more gold over the past 20 months than at any time ever in history. They understand what's coming. They understand what gold represents. And I believe it will represent a peg to the new system, backing of a new system, because, the old saying, fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you, rather. Fool me 7,000 times, shame on me. And that's kind of what the fiat currency system has been. And so I think in order to get people to legitimize a new currency, a new system, it will have to be pegged to something. And well, what better to do than the only other tier one reserve asset in the world? So if I had one trade to make and only one trade, it would be gold because of that. The most influential and well-funded and well-informed traders on the globe are telling us that. But when you look at silver, I believe it is a generational opportunity. I do not think you get opportunities like this, but maybe once a lifetime. And I mean that sincerely. There are very few assets that I can think of that have a better story behind it than silver. It is an asset that is massively depleting in nature. It is an asset that is massively growing in demand in industrial applications, in military applications, and also has experienced a 3-year renaissance in monetary demand. You have an asset that has duality in demand, actually, three sources of demand: military, industrial, green, and digital, and investment. At the same time, it's decreasing in nature. And when you realize that it's coming out of the ground right now at a 7 to 1 ratio to gold, meaning they mine 7 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold, yet for 5,000 years, that number was 16 to 1. It's decreasing in nature. And the reason for that, very simply, like your skin is epidermis, silver is found in nature in a form called epithermal, right near the surface. The big deposits were found a long time ago. So in fact, of all the silver that's mined right now, only 35% comes from companies that actually mine silver. The other 65% come from companies that have no business mining silver whatsoever. In fact, they're mining other elements like copper or tin or lead or gold, and they stumble across some silver. It is an asset that is decreasing in nature, increasing in demand globally on many different levels. To me, it is as intriguing of an investment as you will ever find, ever. And so I would say to you this: if I had the intentions of playing a calculated speculation, you buy silver right now. And when the ratio, right now, the price ratio is roughly 81 or 82 to 1, that is an anomaly. You folks live in Texas. It would be as if you woke up in the morning and found 6 feet of snow in your backyard. You're not going to call the Polaris dealership and buy a snowmobile. You would know that it's an anomaly. The same thing is true here from a geologic context and from a historical context, going back to the beginning of time. This is an anomaly. in terms of its price. So you buy silver at 81 or 2 to 1. And if all that happens is it gets back to its 100-year average, price average of about 40 to 1, and it's been that way for 100 years, largely because of gold's role as money, silver's role more of an industrial metal until now, and and the storage aspect. So the price ratio for the last 100 years has been about 40 to 1, even though the geologic ratio was 16 to 1. Well, now the price ratio is 80 to 1 and the geologic ratio is 7 to 1. Something's not right here. So you buy silver right now at 80 to 1. And if all that happens is we go back to its 100-year average, which, hey, if all you're trying to do is get to the average, that's not too much to ask for. That's a double when you switch back into gold. If it gets anywhere near its geologic ratio, and at some point, if silver, this is the third year in a row, we're going to have a massive shortfall in supply versus demand, about 250 million ounces of mine supply versus demand. At some point, that geologic ratio has to hook up with real life numbers. So you could argue, even at 40 to 1, you're 6 times undervalued in relationship to its geological footprint, its mining ratio. So let me just make this real easy to understand. If I had one trade to make and only one, and genie comes out of the bottle, I'm buying gold because it's the only other tier one reserve asset in the world. And the central banks, who not only are the wealthiest, but the most well-informed investors on the planet, are telling you that. But they're also buying silver. India just imported 60 million ounces in October and 304 million ounces last year. I mean, they're crushing the available supply. They're taking as much as they can. China imported 10 million ounces of silver in October as well, and Turkey is importing a ton. And this is going on and on and on. But the point I'm getting at is this: if I had two trades to make, I load up on silver right now at 80 to 1, and when we get to its 200-year average of 40 to 1, I begin to start trading it to gold. You double what you could otherwise buy today, and that's still 6 times above its mining ratio. You could expect, in reality, a 2, a 3, or a 4-fold return on your silver to gold investment when you switch back to gold. Now, is it guaranteed? No. In golfing terms, it's not quite a gimme putt, but it's about a 2-foot putt where you got about a 95% chance of it happening. And I really do believe it is the trade of a generation. Buy silver, wait for the ratio to correct just to its average of 100 plus years, and then switch to gold. And you would double, at worst, you would double what you started with.
Thanks for joining us today as we explored the exciting insights shared by Andy Schectman on the potential gold and silver trade of a generation. To recap, Schectman highlighted the unique opportunity in silver with its current 80 to 1 ratio against gold, emphasizing its historical average and diverse global demand. If you found today's discussion valuable, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and share your thoughts in the comments below.